Hi, everybody. Angel here. Hope you're doing great. And today I'm super excited to speak with Joe. And we'll get started very soon. And as you can see from the title of the live, Joe is a vegan chiropractor and bodybuilder. So we will get started very soon chatting with Joe. Thanks for joining. Hi there. Let's see if I can get Joe in here. Join. Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Am I on the straight? Because you're off to the
You,
side for me. So am I
you need
wrong?
to turn your camera yeah, no
All right,
worries.
bear with me. Hold
Yep.
on one second.
So that it's, yeah, you're getting here. You're getting here.
Yep. Here
Yep.
we go. Hold on one second.
No worries.
Hold on a second. I'm on a tripod here. Whoops. I think that get out of the sun a
Awesome.
little bit.
Awesome. Thank you
Is
so
that
much for
okay?
taking the time. I want to say hi to everybody who's joining either live or on the replay. And Joe, I've been following you for a while and I'm like super impressed by, all those muscles and bodybuilding and all of the, all of the tips that you're
Thank you.
leaving everyone there in your videos and everything. And so I want to thank you for coming on, and I have tons and tons of questions to get to in our time together. So I think I'm just going to get started.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, sure. Let's do it.
Thank you
Thanks for having
for
me on.
taking
I
the
appreciate it.
time. So my first question to you, Joe, is
Yep.
how did your plant-based vegan journey start way back when, and how did you get to where you are today?
Um, you know, it took me a long time to kind of find my way, and I'll tell you why. So I grew up in an Italian household, in an Italian neighborhood. I mean, I did not, I'm not kidding, I did not know a vegetarian,
Uh,
a vegan growing up. I mean, you think there was there was no such thing as a vegan Italian. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, it was an Italian neighborhood, and 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 my family was hardcore Italians, and you cook
and
pasta, you're cooking
cheese.
meatballs and sausage. I mean,
Yeah.
so so you get that mindset growing up as a child. That's what's ingrained in your head. I always knew I had this love for animals, and that's why I'm vegan now. I mean, but I always had this love, but I never really put it together as a kid because I was wired. My family and it wires you a certain way, and it wasn't probably till I got to, college that I started realizing. But it was still a journey because it was very difficult because I was wired one way and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to, and I would start. So I started going through those, and maybe other vegans and vegetarians can relate to this, but I started going through. Okay, I'm vegetarian for a while, but then I fall back, and then I vegetarian. I went into, I was at certain points in my younger life. I was vegetarian. I was vegan. I was back to eating meat, and it was a journey. And when I think back, and this is one thing I always say is that when you see someone that's trying like that, or they have like this, like, is to help them, is to guide them. And I wish I had found people like that when I was younger that could have guided me a little more. Instead, you start finding, like, I would go on like vegan chat sites and stuff, like that, or vegan web, and sometimes they was like,
Uh,
God, like, if anything, harsh, like, be like, instead of encouraging you, they'd be like, well, you're not vegan enough, and I'd be like, really, like, let's show a little love here. Like, I'm trying, like a lot of us are trying. And so now if I meet people that are trying, I mean, I don't get offended if someone says, well, I'm trying to be, vegan, I'm trying to be a vegetarian, but I still do this and that. And I just try to encourage them. I say, listen, that's great what you're doing, but, why do you try to talk to them and, and try to encourage. And I felt like I didn't, like, you don't get, so it was a battle. But I had some times when I was vegetarian, I was vegan. And then I would say about 13 years ago, I was just like, that was it. I was like, I'm never eating meat again. But I still wasn't a vegan at the time. I knew dairy from years ago. I knew dairy was just, it never made sense to me. So I cut out the dairy years ago. I knew it never made sense to me. Drinking milk from a cow, it was like, really? It doesn't make any sense. But I was still eating a little at the time, 13 years, still eating a little, fish here and there if it came, But I was doing well. I mean, I was, and then about 5 years ago now, my youngest son came up to me and was just like, Dad, let's just go vegan, And I was like, definitely. I said, I want to do that. I said, that would be awesome, And he actually at the time wasn't even a vegetarian. He was actually, and I thought to myself, I'm going to do it, but I know this kid's going to last 2 weeks, right? Well, he never turned back. I've been so impressed. He never turned. He's been like, me and him are just like bonded over the whole thing about how we've never turned back. I've never had a problem with it. I know I'll never go back now. I finally found my way in this way of life, and I'm so happy about it. I'm happy that he's has never looked back either. And I wish I had done it sooner, but like I said, it was just a journey. It's like you have to find your way. I mean, it's just, some people, I talk to them and it's like they grew up around vegetarians, they grew up around vegans, it just took me time, but I'm glad I'm where I'm at. Let's just put it that way. I've never felt better. I'm finally, my body and my mind are finally where it needs to be, as far as like, I love animals, and sometimes I think back, I can't believe I even used to eat, meat. I mean, I can't even believe it sometimes, but I'm just happy to be where I'm at.
I mean, there's so much. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing and being so honest. Seriously, I want to say hi to everybody who's out there. Thanks for joining. Please put your questions and comments down below for Joe. He'd be happy to answer, either in the comment box or the question mark box, wherever you want to put it. And we will pause and take those questions as we go. But Joe, there's just so much that you said, I think a lot of it is what we call speciesism, because I grew up thinking, well, that was just how the world was, that we were supposed to eat animals. And I didn't even think of it as like animal excretions, to be honest, as some people call like dairy and eggs, which I know now, obviously that's the correct way to describe dairy and eggs. But I just thought it was normal. I just thought that that's why they were here. I thought, as some people say, animals are here with us, not for us. But in my mind, I guess I thought the opposite, that's just why they were here, to provide, their flesh and their bodies to us. So I was totally in that whole speciesism mindset as well, that it was just normal. And then when I was between 18 and 19, my first year of university, I stumbled into a bookstore, because growing up I tried to avoid red meat because I don't like blood, and I still don't like blood. So I would try to avoid red meat because it just didn't make sense to me. As you said, it didn't make sense to me to even eat red meat, because if it's bleeding, like if it has blood in it, then why are we eating it? But I would do it to go along, to get along, and like not cause too many ruckuses in my family or in my inner circle or whatever. And so when I was like between 18 and 19, I stumbled into a bookstore because I was always into like health foods and stuff. And I found this like it was more of a pure vegetarian book. So they weren't into like, the lacto-ovo version of vegetarian, but they did use honey as far as I recall in the book. But long story short, I was like, okay, so I'm going vegetarian. Yes. So I did that. And then I went home for the holidays, and there was a lot of hand wringing and, worrying, oh my gosh, no, you can't do that. No, why aren't you?
That's always was the toughest part, is when you went back home you know, and they, you would, like, you know, I would take like abuse from the family, you know,
Yes,
like, you know, like they get mad at
it
you. That was always the
was so
toughest
hard,
part
and so
going
I
back home.
caved
Yeah,
and I gave in, and then I started to eat everything again.
yeah,
And although I did lean into more what we
yeah,
call white meat and fish, because I couldn't stand all the blood and
yeah,
all the gristle and all the other, like, um what do you call it, like cartilage, basically. Well, you know more about that, because we'll get into the
yeah.
chiropractor domain
Mhm.
in a moment, which I don't know much about at all. But my point is, I can totally relate to you. And I just want to applaud your son for being, the light in this whole story to begin with, too. And I know another woman, her daughter said, is the one who said, I'm going vegan. And then her mother, the woman I know, said, well, she better, she had to figure this
Yeah,
out. And so then she became vegan. The mother through the
yeah,
daughter. So I think it's a beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful story. Now we have a comment.
It is. I mean, and that, yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, supporting each other. You know, I mean, it's like for example, my daughter, she's been a vegetarian for years, and I don't give her a hard time about not being a vegan, but I do try to, you know, I'm working on it, you know, I'm working on it, but I just try to encourage her, support her. I love the fact that she is a vegetarian, and I'm hoping someday I'll get her to just, be 100% plant-based, you know, but right now I'm not going to give her a hard time. Like, you know, I'm not going to,
Yeah,
say you should be doing this or that's not right. Or, you just try to give your support, and you hope that with enough support and enough education, she'll find her way too, I mean, so it's really just about supporting the family, so,
I
and friends, just
agree.
supporting
And
each
thanks
other,
for bringing that up.
so
Now, I am a part of, I can't even tell you the number of vegan groups I'm a part of on Facebook. I mean, I don't even know how many, because there's so many that I'm a part of. And this is a challenge that some people face too, like the new vegans. When they come in and they say, or like what you were saying, well, I want to be vegan, or they don't really understand what vegan is. So they think like plant-based is vegan or plant-forward is
yeah,
vegan. And, we all understand, like, it's a lot of labels put out there. But then they get
yeah,
bashed sometimes by other vegans. And so it's really,
I
really
know,
sad to see, like, the bickering back and forth between them. So I just lay
mm,
out a whole bunch of resources for them, and then I get all these likes and thank yous. But I don't get involved in,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
criticizing someone who says, I want to go vegan, but I'm having a hard time letting go of cheese. What I do is I give them a whole set of articles on different kinds of cheese, reviews
yeah,
and recommendations, and just try to encourage
yeah.
them.
And sometimes people don't know. I mean, like, for example, I remember years ago, I didn't even think about like honey as you know what I mean. But so it's stuff you don't even know sometimes. That's why you shouldn't bash people, because, and I don't want to name sites that I've been on, but it's almost like that's why these days I actually prefer saying that I'm 100% plant based instead of saying the vegan. I mean, not that I mind, but I'm just saying, like, because of that previous bashing that took, I almost like the term. I almost, when that became popular, being plant based, I almost like that term a little bit better. 100, I just tell you I'm 100% plant based. They'll say, "Are you a vegan?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a vegan," but I
You're
kind of, a
not
lot
the
of times I just say
only
I'm
one. I've
100%
heard
plant
other
based.
people do that
So
too. Yeah, because it's
yeah,
less
yeah.
controversial,
So
I guess, or it's less of a kind of a stigma, or yeah, we get into a whole realm
yeah.
of critique with the word vegan. Now we have a question, and I want to put that to you, Joe. A comment/question.
Yeah.
Hello, 24 years old pescatarian, trying to transition to whole food plant-based, watching here. What would you say to this person, Joe? A pescatarian, 24 years old. First of all, gratitude to you, young person, for showing up.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you say?
I mean, so that's what I did for before I made the move to vegan. And it's just education. I just started looking into and reading about seafood and all that, and you realize that these are living creatures too, and it's like, I always look at it as like, can't, like, and when I was eating fish, like I can survive without a piece of fish. So if I can live without harming another creature, like why, you don't need to do it. So it's like, if that's all you're down to is where it's just the only thing keeping you from being 100% plant-based is fish, then I would say, there's so many options out there to substitute those fish meals with other plant-based options. You just don't need it. I mean, there's really no, you kind of start realizing, I don't need that, and I don't need that, and like, and a little bit of time and effort of reading into just information about sea life and about how, I mean, these are living, creatures that are trying to live their life, and who are we to interrupt their life, And I don't know why. I guess I thought that way too. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people think of fish as not the same as a cow, but they are. I mean, they're living creatures, and we don't need them to survive. I mean, and that's what I try to show all the time. Talked about at the beginning, like exercises and things like fitness tips and stuff. I try to show people that you could be 100, healthy and fit and in shape and all that, and have a few muscles, and you don't need anything that's living to do that. I mean, you can do it all off of plants and so it just shows you there's no need for it. But I applaud the person at 24. I wish at 24 I was where they are. So
I agree.
best of luck
And
to them,
I also didn't regard aquatic animals as the same as land animals. I really didn't. I didn't even know that they had intelligence.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had feelings. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know they had relationships with each other. Nothing like that. And so I can definitely understand I guess the lack of awareness. I did put the tag of a Seaspiracy. It's a very powerful documentary. And so if that person's still here or whoever's watching, if you want to understand like aquatic animals, those we call seafood, better, you can watch Seaspiracy. It's an amazingly powerful documentary, and it just shows basically what's going on in the fishing industry, and that we don't need to consume them. As Joe said, we don't need to consume those animals. And there are tons and tons of ways. And one last point, those animals in the water and in the oceans, the seas, the rivers, and the lakes, for example, they are consuming plants. They are consuming plant foods, a lot of those animals. And then we as humans are eating the fish or whomever, who have already eaten the plants. So why don't we just eat the plants, Like, leave them alone. They have their own mission in life. They have their own purpose in life. And we are not a part of that, okay? So let's just leave them alone. But I am so grateful to that person for asking the question. We have a happy Women's Day wish there, and same to everybody. And also a suggestion to watch Dairy is Scary on YouTube. Thank you for that. Plant-based milks, over 40 of them, for sure. Thank you so much for putting all of those resources in there. So I have another question then. So when you went, over to the plant side in your diet, what were some of the changes and some of the challenges that you experienced?
Because like I said, I had been doing everything pretty much plant-based except for maybe the seafood for so many years. It wasn't a huge change to finally, just say, hey, that's it. I'm going 100% plant-based. It wasn't that huge of a challenge, but I find it's a challenge though. And this is for people even that are thinking of being, going into 100% like plant-based side, is that, is just educating yourself to make sure you are getting proper nutrition. Because a lot of people, they do it incorrectly. Then they last 3 weeks and they say, oh, I felt lousy. I couldn't work out. I had no energy. And so I did make sure that, of course it was maybe a little easier for me because of my background, but I made sure that I was getting the proper nutrition in, each day and eating the proper, making sure I had a proper macro breakdown that I needed. So it wasn't a huge transition for me because, like I said, I was already had put dairy to the, out of the diet and the meat was out of the diet. So it wasn't, a tough transition for me. But it is a tough transition if you don't do it correctly. If you I've talked to people that are that you know, they'll say that they're, you know, they went vegan, and I'll talk to them about, okay, well, what are you eating? And I'm like, oh my God, man, you're not gonna last on that, you know. I mean, they'll be just, you know, toast and peanut
Oh
butter or something like
no.
that. You know what I mean? Like, and they just, you know, they're not eating. You know. I'll tell you one thing you got to do. You got to just a little tip for anyone who's listening to is
Yeah.
buy a bunch of vegan cookbooks. Like we have stacks of them in here at my house, and my wife is an awesome
Awesome.
vegan cook. And we have so many vegan cookbooks, and that is so helpful because there's so many delicious things you can
Yep.
make plant based that people don't realize. I mean, we eat so well at my house. We do. We have lots and lots of, and so over the years, you know, we're just constantly pulling out recipes from these books, and like, you know, for everything from breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, desserts, and that's a big help for anyone who's trying to go plant based and you don't feel like you're getting the proper nutrition. Start loading up on the vegan plant based cookbooks. I mean, that's a big help for anyone. You know, it really can guide you. You know, and make sure that you're eating properly and
Yeah,
with
no, that's
proper
a
nutrition.
beautiful suggestion.
So,
I tell the story sometimes of a famous vegan over in Spain, and he has a friend who he was, you know, they were traveling, and so this friend who's a big athlete, some, you know, traveling all around the world, was eating plant-based when they were together, and then when they were not on the same trip, he was not eating plant-based, and so his friend, the activist, the Spanish activist, asked him. This is during an Instagram live. I'm obsessed with Instagram lives, by the way. Anyway, back to the story. And the activist said, "Well, hey, how come you're not eating plant-based anymore?" And the athlete said, "I need recipes. I need recipes. Send me recipes." And I just realized, you know, through that interaction, that a lot of people really struggle with recipes. So thank you for bringing that up. And I do want to point out too, you talked about, you know, your background and all of that, you know, when you're growing up. There are beautiful, you know, plant-based recipes for all kinds of different cultural cuisines. So,
oh, I know. Like just the other night, my wife made vegetarian lasagna, and it was delicious. I mean, it was like, and she
yeah,
makes it once in a while, and it's just,
yeah,
you know, 100% plant-based lasagna. I mean, when I eat that, I think to
yeah,
myself, I could have been eating that my whole life. I mean, it's just as good as anything my mother made, you know, would need. I mean, but there's a lot of like recipes like that where
exactly.
you know, you're eating lasagna, you know, and and it's plant-based, you know, so it's delicious, and there's so many recipes like that. I mean, like I said, I really feel that we eat really well here, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
we're always trying new things, which is important. You know, trying new recipes. Maybe you don't like it, maybe you do, but we're always experimenting with new recipes for all different meals, and that's important too. You know, you have to don't keep eating the same thing over and over again, because then if you do, then you start, if you're a little bit on the fence, then you start venturing, you know, and you go the wrong way. But if you just, you know, try new things and keep your diet interesting, it's really, you know, it's really, I don't know, it's really not hard to be plant-based.
yeah.
I find it so much easier too these days because so much more stuff available at the stores. You know, like I'm drinking a cup of coffee with my oat milk creamer. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, was that there 30 years ago? No, you know, but I mean, I'm just saying things like things at the stores, everything's so much easy. Go out to dinner. How many restaurants now? You go out to dinner, I can always find restaurants that have plant-based options now. I mean, it's awesome, you know. So I just feel like it's become easier to go with what you know, what
Yeah,
you want,
I
you know, what you
agree.
want to do.
No,
So
and
yeah.
you know, like I saw the other day, like there's potato milk now, like banana milk. I mean, it's just amazing, you
Yeah.
know, what we humans can come up with, which I totally applaud.
Yeah, and I love it too because
Yes,
I love it too because I hope it buries
yes,
the dairy industry.
yeah,
You know, all these other milks. I think even non-vegans and
yes,
stuff are starting to like drink oat milk and drink rice milk and drink. And I'm psyched. I'm like, good, maybe we'll
yes,
put the dairy
yes. I
industry out of
mean, you
business.
know,
You know,
so that's
so
a really important point. And I do want to say too, yes, I think that one of the keys is to look at this as a lifestyle of abundance, of exploration, of, experimenting, and not, oh my gosh, it's scarcity. I have to give up so much. No, 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 no. You're
Yeah.
gaining so much more, and a lot of us grow up
Yeah.
eating a limited number of ingredients anyway, and so with this lifestyle, I know for me and many
Yeah.
others, we have just, explored and enjoyed so many more foods that we were not even enjoying before.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, think about people that eat meat, right? What's their dinners? They usually have a piece of meat on a plate with maybe a potato and some vegetables, or a piece of chicken on, with rice and some. I mean,
And it's very
that's a boring
limited. It's
diet.
very limited.
Never mind the fact that it's very limited. I mean, when you're plant based, I mean, God, the different types of foods you eat, it's awesome. I mean, lentils and I mean, just being all these different recipes with all these different types of foods that I'm constantly, even still to this day, my wife will make something. I'm like, wow, I never had that before. Like never, like it's awesome. So yeah, it is. It's
I
life more
agree. I
plentiful.
agree. Now, I
So
wanted to ask you, if there were any, I guess, top tips, but you've already given quite a few. I don't know if you wanted to, add anything else about your top tips for people who want to go plant-based or vegan.
yeah, I mean, just
Right.
educate yourself. I mean, that's the main thing, and try to get with like-minded people. I mean,
Community
you
support.
know, I mean, yeah, you want to have, you don't want to be hanging around with a bunch of people that want to go to a steakhouse. I mean, or you know what I mean? Like, it really helps to be with like-minded people. I mean, most of the people that I associate with are all, plant-based people. I mean, we kind of have the same mindset, the same ideas about things, and then that helps a lot. Getting supportive people around you and people that think the same, and then just educating yourself. Like, watch documentaries like you mentioned
Yeah,
about this, the
seaspiracy.
food
There's
industry.
cowspiracy.
Yeah, educate yourself. Watch that type of stuff. Read articles about that. And just get that mindset, that lifestyle. That this is right. I mean, this is the way to be. I mean, we're not here to harm others and harm other creatures. I mean, we can live our lives. Let them live their lives. I don't need a piece of leather to hold up my pants. In other words, I can hold up my pants with a piece of canvas. I can have a You know what I mean? Like or a sneaker. I mean, I can keep my feet warm with sneakers, and I don't need them made out of leather, and I don't need my jacket made out of leather. Why do I need a piece of leather to keep myself warm when there's all these other materials I can choose from? So it's like that's the type of way you need to start. You have to think. You have to think like, I don't need to harm anything to live my life. I can stay warm. I can keep my belly full, and I don't
Yeah,
need
and
to harm anyone to
you for
do it.
bringing up,
So
yeah, thank you for bringing
that's
up
the
the
way I
whole
look at it.
lifestyle element, clothing, furnishing, skincare, travel, entertainment. Thank you for bringing that up, because it is
Yeah,
more than a diet. If you are in the mindset of a vegan, it is just way more than a diet. So I really want to applaud you.
it is way more. Yeah, yeah. I mean, why, you don't need to buy a pair of whatever Nikes or Reeboks that have leather on them. Why, I noticed, that's getting back to like just like grocery stores. Every major
Yes.
manufacturer of like sneakers have vegan options now. Like, so there's no excuse for having to go out and buy a pair of sneakers with leather on them, because every major manufacturer has their like vegan option sneakers, and it's so easy to find a pair of sneakers these days without leather. So why do you need to have a pair of leather sneakers on? It's like, when I see that on people, I don't like to say anything, and I love to say it, but I want to ask people, like, why do you have to have leather sneakers on? Like, like, why what's,
Right.
just because they look good or whatever? I mean,
Keeping up with the
really, I mean,
Joneses.
just, you don't need to buy them.
And
Yeah,
and one thing too, I want
I
to
mean,
add,
it's like,
which you're making an awesome point with the big companies. In addition, there are many, many, many vegan companies coming out in the fashion world, even in the travel world, in where they are, creating. I'll just stick to fashion for the moment, or even like beauty care, skin care, and all of that. They're creating specific purely vegan lines. In other words, these are purely vegan companies where all of their products are vegan and
yeah,
cruelty free and plant based. Yeah. So,
I like
there's
that.
that element too.
usually if I'm going to choose a company, I'll choose a company that isn't a mixture. Like I like to pick and support companies that are 100%, like whether it's protein powder, like, you know, some companies that's like sell all these different like whey proteins and stuff, and then they'll have some plant-based, but I always make sure like I pick companies that are like to support the companies that are just 100% like vegan, you know, like same thing with like the shoes I buy. I use companies that they don't have leather shoes too. They're just 100% vegan. Yeah, so I think it's important to support those companies, you know, that are 100%, you know, they're just 100% vegan.
I agree.
Companies,
yeah.
so,
I want to say hi to everybody. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below for Joe. Meanwhile, Joe, what does a chiropractor do?
What chiropractors do, I mean, by definition, I guess it's like we remove nerve interference from the body. So in other words, we our main thing in the training is to keep the spine in proper alignment. When the spine is in proper alignment, we have 100% nerve flow, and when there's 100% nerve flow, our body can heal itself. It can take care of itself. If you know, an example of that, people a lot of times think of chiropractors as, you know, oh, my back hurts, and that's true. But you have to remember the same nerve that might go to a muscle in your back also has a branch that might be going to your bladder or to your colon. So you have to remember it's not just about musculoskeletal, like muscle pains. You know, your whole body needs. I mean, if the nerve going to my heart has pressure on it, and I'm only getting 50% nerve flow to my heart can't function at 100%, or my stomach can't function at 100%. So you want 100% nerve flow in all your nerves, and that's what chiropractors focus on, is keeping the body free of spinal misalignments so that the nerves can function at 100%. Now, in my practice, I'm a big soft tissue person. I do a lot of soft tissue work, which is what a lot of times on my YouTube channel, our videos are, you know, showing people how to do soft tissue work, because I feel like that's another important component is, you know, people develop a lot of restrictions and scar tissue and different, you know, muscles, and I'm a big fan of working on the soft tissue also. There's a lot of different types of chiropractors. A lot of people get into different areas. I mean, my area, I've always kind of been focused on soft tissue work. So other chiropractors will, you know, tell you that they get focused on other things, and there's a million different chiropractic techniques on how you adjust the spine, and adjustment is working the spine back into position. And there's so many different ways to adjust the spine, and someone could come to my office and go to another chiropractor and they wouldn't even know that they were you know what I mean? It could be, you get two totally different treatments, which is okay. You know, I mean, it's good that the variety is good, and I support all. I don't care how chiropractors adjust. It's all good, because we don't believe in medications, and we don't believe in surgeries, you know, if we can be avoided, you know. So chiropractors, people say, well, don't you prescribe medicine? Or it's not that we can't prescribe medicine. Right. We don't want to prescribe medicine. You know, I don't want to give you a prescription for pain pills.
It's an alignment issue. So would the realignment, or getting back into proper and correct alignment through the work that you do, would that help with, let's say, someone who has like inflammation or, you know, pain somewhere?
Yeah, so that's, you know, so of course a lot of things that drive people to the office is, you know, pain related, you know, neck pain, back pain. I do a lot of work because of the soft tissue work I do. We have people come in with, you know, plantar fasciitis in the feet, and tennis elbow, and shoulder problems. So I work on all, like I would say, I work any joint in town, you know. So I mean, we'll work on any joint. You know, if there's a joint, we can work on it. It can be aligned, and we can do soft tissue work around the joint. So so yeah, I mean, but most of the time, what drives people to the office is pain, you know, you know. But you know, we try to educate people on just the wellness aspect of chiropractic. You know, there's a wellness aspect to it. I'm not out here saying that, oh, I can cure, you know, your diverticulitis or something. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, in general, there is a wellness aspect to chiropractic, and I believe that. I believe that, you know, to be 100% healthy, you have to have 100% nerve flow. So, you know, I feel like it's a healthy thing to do. Like, we try to encourage people, you know, come in every, you know, month or 6 weeks and just get a checkup, make sure your spine's in position, you know, and moving properly. when we try to encourage people to do wellness visits, to just kind of come in and keep an eye on things, just like you'd go to the dentist every so many months to get your teeth cleaned. You go to the eye doctors every so many months to get your eyes checked. You know, it's good to check your spine too,
Yeah,
make sure everything's functioning properly. So, especially if you're, yeah, especially if you're, you know, as an athlete too. I mean, people that are working out and moving around and stuff. You know, that's how I got into chiropractic was as an athlete. You know, realizing that the medical community wasn't helping me, so I found a chiropractor years and years and years ago, and it was
yeah,
the
and
best thing I
also
ever
because
did.
we
So,
live such sedentary lives now compared to 100 years ago. You know, in cubicles.
yeah,
Yeah,
we all
sitting in
sit
desks,
too much.
sitting at desk, cubicles, not getting enough movement. You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
your practice is super helpful for so many people in so many areas.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I really try to, you know, do what we can. I mean, I'm really out there to help people, like, you know, recover, um, you know, like I said, without having to take a, you know, without
Mhm.
having to get that cortisone shot. You can only shoot, you know, cortisone into a joint so many times. I mean, you know, it's not good for you. I just read a study just a couple of weeks ago. Another study that you know confirms again that you know cortisone in a joint repetitively over the years is not good. I mean, that's why you see these baseball players. They're 30 years old and their elbows like a 65-year-old because they've had so many cortisone shots. Cortisone is very destructive to the joint over time. And so, you know, one cortisone shot here and there, I mean, no big deal. But people, that's their cure is, you know, every 6 months because their elbow hurts, they're going in for a cortisone shot. And that's not good, you know, for it. So I like to try to educate people on that and show them that, you know, we can fix this and I can give you stuff to do at home too. So you don't even need me. You know, I try to get people to do things on their own. I always tell people, I don't want to see you. Like, I don't want you relying on me. Like, that's how we got into the YouTube thing. I want to give you stuff to do at home, how to eat right, how to take care of yourself, how to do your own soft tissue work, how to do so that you can just, you know, you can take care of yourself. I mean, that's my goal is to educate people
What is
on taking better
the
care of
name of
themselves.
your
You know,
YouTube channel?
so it's
The
Oak
same
Oak for
as
Men Health.
his
Yeah,
Instagram page that I have pinned down at the bottom. You can find him over on
yeah,
YouTube as well, which I did. I found you over there as well. And
yeah,
it was a really cool
yeah.
video you posted recently. They're all cool, but one of them had like this little, I don't know, this little gadget, and you put it under like your inner thigh and you kind of roll it around. And what was fascinating, and I don't know how many people will do this, but you said to put it in like, I don't know, different places for about a minute, and I'm thinking, I really hope people will take the time to do this because it looks like it can really help. You know, we're in a fast food overnight. Give it to me now. Snap my fingers, and I'm gonna be
Yeah, I know.
better.
Well,
And I just thought, man, this is such a cool.
that's why medicine is so popular because it's a quick fix. You know, sometimes to fix a problem, it takes time and it takes effort on people, and you have to stay with it. And a lot of people just, you know, give me the cortisone shot. You know, it'll feel better in 5 minutes. You
But
know,
long,
but you know, it's not.
yeah,
You
but
know,
down the
not
road,
the right,
down the
not the
road,
right
it's
road to
not the
drive
best
down.
approach, like you're saying. Which
Yeah.
takes me to my next question, please, which is regarding your wellness programs. Please tell us a bit about, the different offerings that you have. I know you have, several that I saw on your website. So tell us a bit about your programs, please.
Yeah, well, we try to, do more. You know, we do try to do some one-on-one work with people. You know, if people want to have a specific problem they want to work with, or even just people that just want to get into shape, fitness, like health related type of programs. Diet related, fitness related. So sometimes injury related. People reach out for things like that. You know, they might have a chronic problem, a chronic shoulder problem that's been going on for a year. They're not getting any help. So we do a lot of one-on-one type of stuff like that. I'm actually in the middle of developing some other programs that are joint specific, like programs for like shoulder mobility, shoulder strengthening, hip mobility, so some specific stuff. It takes time. It's funny, you're trying to when you put in these programs together and you have to film all these videos. It's hard because I'm in chiropractic practice full time, and it takes time to compile programs of
Yes.
videos and content. It's not easy. But I just try to do a little at a time. We try to just do a little at a time. The main thing is just is just try to get the information out there. I mean, the whole reason the channel started was to give patients information on helping them with a particular problem. Like say if you came in to see me for a neck problem and I wanted to show you some stretches, I used to, years ago, I would say, you know, here's the stretches. And if you show someone stretches, by the time they drive home, they probably forgot half of the stretches, right? It's just natural. How are you going to remember? So I started doing these videos so that I could say, listen, I'm going to send you a video of these neck exercises, or these neck stretches, so that you have it right in front of you and you can watch it 2 or 3 times and you know, and that's why we started doing it. But then as we started posting them on YouTube, other people were watching them. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like instead of just reaching my little area here where I practice, I'm reaching people in different countries and people asking me questions from different parts of the country and the world. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like I can reach so many more people and educate so many more people. And that's why then I was like, wow, I'm going to just really like, you know, continue, you know, making more and more and more, you know, videos, because it's such an outreach, you know, it's like amazing how many people you can reach when you go on YouTube with information like that. So I love it. I mean, I love getting, I've done, you know, video consults and addressed questions from people all over the place, you know, all over the world. Really, it's really awesome. A lot of fun.
Now, let me ask you a question about your bodybuilding and how did you get into all of that? And I guess, you know, being a chiropractor, I mean, I'm imagining it helps you with, you know, bodybuilding, but what do you want to tell us about your whole bodybuilding experience?
I mean, I've always liked to exercise. I mean, I had this is the God honest truth. I had my parents, I must have been in a real pain about it, because when I was 8, I had my father buy me a weight set.
Oh my gosh.
When I was
not
8,
a car set or a train set.
So
no.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
A weight set. Yeah. He bought me like 200 pounds of weights when I was 8. So I've just always loved doing it. And so for a long time, I was a gymnast, and even though I was doing gymnastics, I was still I just loved to work out. And so as soon as gymnastics was over, my gymnastic career was over, I moved right into bodybuilding. I think it was like 8 months after I finished gymnastics, I won my first bodybuilding competition. So I just, you know, I mean, you're obviously still, you're in shape from doing gymnastics. And then I just went straight into bodybuilding. And, you know, it's just something I've always loved. I mean, I to this day, I mean, that's the best part of my day is when I work out. I mean, I just, you know, this is what I love to do. You know, everyone's got their thing. That's my thing. I just love love to work out. So
no, that's beautiful. Now you're not shy about telling your age. In fact, you have it right there. You know, in neon lights, basically on your profile. So let me ask you though, what would you say to a person in midlife who thinks, well, gosh, you know, they're already washed up, you know, it's not even worth it to, you know, give this plant-based vegan lifestyle a try. It's not even worth it to try to get into shape. What would you say to a midlife person?
Oh, it's never too late. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, as you know, I'm 58, and the reason I post that all the time is trying to inspire. You know, I mean, I want people to see that, you know, when you know, you can do whatever you want to do, you know, at any age, and whether you're 30 or 40. I mean, you're never too old to live to me, it's like when you decide to be fit and eat right and to exercise, you're making the decision to live a better life. I mean, I see people all day long and older people that are in deplorable condition and they're not living a good life. I mean, it's like an effort for them to just get on the adjusting table for me to work. I mean, it's like they're huffing and puffing with every movement. And I'm just like, really? You know, like, you know, I mean, it's so important to exercise and eat right. I mean, your quality of life just, I mean, you know, it just goes way up. I mean, you know, you know, if you want to do stuff that's fun and you want to, you know, go here and go there. I mean, you know, it play with your grandkids, play with your kids. I mean, you know, you get to, you know, exercise. So yeah, I mean, there's no age. I mean, I love seeing like people older than me that just decide they're going to work out, you know, and that's awesome. You know, I mean, I've had patients that in, you know, 70 or older that they just decided to start working on it. That's awesome. And you can see anyone can improve, you know, anyone can improve at any age if you start exercising. And there's no limit, you know, of what you can do. I mean, people, I'm 58. Last year when I was 57, I mean, I did
Oh, I
21,008
think I
push-ups in
remember.
12
I
hours
think I remember
last
something
May.
about that. Did you
Yeah,
post
and
about that,
so
or was you?
yeah,
I
yeah, I
remember.
posted about that. I mean, I can't tell you how many people said to me, like, and you have to tune them all out, you know, like kind of put those negative thoughts.
No,
You're too old, you're going to get hurt, you're going to have a
no,
stroke. You know what I mean? Like
no.
friends tell me all this stuff and I'm well, okay, well, I know one person I'm
It's
not talking to for the next 6 months
terrible.
while I'm training. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. And you surround yourself with positive people that are going to encourage you. But, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I like to do that stuff because I like to show that there's no limit what you can do. Like, you know, the age is just an absolute number. I mean, it's just, I mean, I remind myself of it all the time because I do post it all the time, but I really, for the most part, I don't think of it. When I'm working out, I'm 20. You know, I don't think to myself, well, I better not do that today. I'm too old to do that. I can't lift that much weight. Oh, I can't do this handstand over here because I'm 50. Yeah, I don't think of that at all. I'm 20 when I'm working out. That's my mindset. I'm just a
I
kid
love
working
that.
out,
Now,
you know?
in
And so,
addition to being in midlife, so, you're a guy, and a lot of guys think, oh my gosh, I got to get that protein. I cannot eat plants only. I got to get that,
uh,
animal-based protein that I've been told that I need to get, throughout my life. So what do you say specifically to guys who are hesitant about becoming plant-based vegan?
yeah, I mean, that's a point that a lot of guys do. They bring that up, you know, and I tell them a couple of things. One is I tell them that you don't need as much protein as you think you need because you know, I talk to people that like are weightlifters and stuff, and God, they think they need all these. I said, listen, when you sit down and eat and you have a meal with protein in it, your body can only assimilate so much protein per meal. You can only do so much with so much protein. The rest of it, your body doesn't store it. It's not like carbohydrates get stored as glycogen in the body and you can store your carbs. You don't store protein. So basically, if you eat too much protein, it goes through your system and it puts stress on your kidneys and your liver and all that. And so I tell them, listen, when you have that big piece of steak that you think you need, and you're eating all that protein because you think you need that meat, you're just overwhelming your internal organs because your body cannot use that much protein at any one sitting. So I try to let them realize that you don't need what you know as much as you're eating. And so I was telling them as a plant-based athlete, you know, you don't have to worry about hitting those huge macro protein numbers of like 200 grams of protein a day or 250. You know, I let them know that, you know, you can utilize so much, and actually through your plants and through your meals. And if you need to supplement some, like I do supplement like some plant-based protein, like I always have a
Yeah.
protein drink when I'm done training. So I supplement a little bit here and there, but I only take in about 100 grams of protein for the entire day. And if you tell that to most athletes or weightlifters, they'll be like, that's all you
But
you
you're
can't
you're
function
proof
on
of
that. And I'm like,
it.
yeah, you can. You know? That's what I mean. That's what I try to prove. I mean, I try to show that you can do it. You know, like same thing with like, you know, whether it's lifting weights or doing 21,000 push-ups. I try to say, listen, you know, I'm doing it on like 90 grams of protein a
It's
day. You know, I
marketing.
mean,
It's
you
too much.
know,
There's too much
I'm not
marketing.
losing any. It's too much marketing, right? Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I talk to these people, like I said, you need a gram for every pound of body weight. Some bodybuilders say, you need a gram and a half per pound of body weight, 2 grams per body weight. It's like, it's really bad for you, actually. I try to express, let people realize it's really bad. It's a lot of stress on your organs to process that extra protein that you're having, all that extra protein. Your body has to get it out. It doesn't store it. And it's a lot of stress on your liver, a lot of stress on your kidneys. So, you know, that's all you got to do is just try to educate people and say, hey, listen, read
Yeah.
this, read that, watch this video,
Yeah.
read this, and
So
educate them, you know?
tell
So,
everybody here basically what they're gonna find when they go to your YouTube channel. What's your mission over there?
I mean, it's to educate. I mean, I try to do a pretty wide variety of health and fitness type of material. So like one week we're doing a video on how to treat a pinched nerve or how to treat a tight chest muscle with fascia release work. The next week we could be doing a video on how to perform dips or a workout video or fit, you know, like, so I combination of exercises, injury prevention, injury treatments. I so every once in a while, if I think of something good, I've done some meal-based videos where I've showed how to make plant-based burgers or stuff like that. Sometimes I'll get inspired to do a video on
Those are
food, you know,
popular, I think. Yeah.
little meal prep. Yeah, I mean, so we do stuff like that, but it's just a variety of just health and wellness type of material. Like I said, whether you're injured, you're preventing injuries, you want to build some muscle, stay in shape, get fit. So it's a pretty good variety. I find that I like mixing it up. I don't want to do the same thing every week. Like last week, like I said, last week it's funny. I try to do one main video a week, like one, because it's when you do a video, it's quite a bit of production. Like I have to shoot it all. Then I got to come home. I got to edit it all. I mean, so I try to just do one main video a week. And then every day I try to do those little YouTube shorts, the 60-second ones, because those are easy because you can do them right on your iPhone. Yeah, and you upload it. Yeah, they're the little quick videos. I feel like they're nice. They're little quick information. I might show a stretch or an exercise or a quick fascia release tip on how to loosen up a knot in your neck or something like that. And those are fun to do and they're quick to do. And then usually on like today's Wednesday. Usually on Wednesdays, and I've already done this earlier today. I usually film a new video, like a full length video. So which I gotta edit after this. I gotta edit my video from today. So, but anyways, yeah. So I think it's a good variety of info for people, to check out. And we get quite a few. At this point, we got quite a few videos. I've been at it for a few years, so I think we have a little bit over 400 videos at this point. So
yeah, no, well, just bravo to you for doing that, because I mean, at least the videos that I watch, I haven't watched a ton. There's so much out there, but you make it very practical, very approachable, and it seems doable. You know what you're talking about.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I hope that people find it. I try to give people simple things to do at home, whether it's using like you said, you mentioned the video about a massage ball, whether it's using a massage ball to help a knot in your, in your neck or your chest or something like that, or it's just a matter of doing something like an exercise. I mean, it's maybe not every video is for every person, but that's why I try to do a variety, and I hope that people find it. I try to take my time sometimes one of the criticisms, you get people writing in, they'll be like, you explain it too much. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to educate. Of course I'm going to explain it, Like sometimes I think some of the younger people, when they watch it, they just want the material, like they don't want an explanation. Get to the point, I'm always like, and I always write back, like, I'm here to educate. So skip that part if you don't want to listen to it. But I think that's why the shorts are very powerful, because our attention spans have reduced quite a bit over the last couple of decades here. Unfortunately, I know for me it's the same thing, and so I understand where they're coming from, and I guess that's why we have reels and shorts. Yeah. And they're fun. I think shorts are fun. They're fun to watch and they're fun to do. Yeah. So, your book. Tell us about your book. What's going on with this book? So the book's called A Fitness Carol, and so as you might have guessed, it's a parody on A Christmas Carol, which I love that story of A Christmas Carol. And so in A Fitness Carol, our main character, he doesn't hate Christmas. It really has nothing to do with Christmas. The main character is a Scrooge type of figure in the sense that he doesn't take care of himself. So he's someone that's overweight, out of shape, because he thinks he doesn't have time to eat right and exercise because he's busy living his life, And his partner, just like in Christmas Carol, his partner had passed away several years before because for the same reason, didn't take care of himself. And so he comes back, just like Jacob Marley came and visited Scrooge. He comes back and tells the main character that he's being visited, instead of by 3 ghosts of Christmas, he's being visited by 3 components of good health. So he's going to get 3 visits in that night. One's going to come from, we call them components, not spirits, but he's going to be, they like spirits, but they're going to be visited by the component of exercise, the component of nutrition, and the component of mental strength. And goes through the process of getting visited and taken through his life, and by these different components of him, all through his life, of how he didn't take care of himself and how he needs to take care of himself. And with the idea being he's a changed person at the end of the night, just like Scrooge, like Christmas, this guy gets into fitness at the end. So, and you know what I mean? It's like, I get a kick out of it. So in the, you know, on the sidebars of the pages, you know, we put little facts about health in them, and if the characters are eating a vegan meal, I put the recipe in, and you know, it's funny. I always, you know, say, like, in my book, you know, you have Tiny Tim in A Christmas Carol, who's small and meek and very sick. In my book, Tim, the character, same character, Tim,
Yeah,
he's a vegan who's a football
the
player.
total
He's big
opposite.
and
Yeah,
strong.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're opposite. So, but anyways, we just put it on
Yeah,
audio.
I saw
So
that.
it's like, it's been on paperback, but you know, now we're on audio, which and I narrated. So I always tease people. I say, if you want to have the fitness carol told to you by a guy with a bad Boston accent, you know, just you can pick up the audio
You do
version.
have a
So
unique accent. I'll give you that.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
So it's
Yeah,
definitely
no,
a
but the
Boston
audio
accent, you
I
know.
think will
So
really like rope in more people, and just like you were saying, like young people are like, hey, get to the point. A lot
yeah,
of people, and not just young people, by the way, I mean of all ages, are really into audiobooks now because they want to do it on the go. You know, they're
yeah. I know, it's very
multitasking and they
popular.
want to listen to stuff while they're doing something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I read, but I also, when I'm driving, I'm listening to audiobooks too. I get it. You know, it's easy to do, and it's you know, kills time when you're driving. So that's why. So hopefully we just put it out on audio not too long ago. So hopefully the
Yeah,
audiobooks will,
yeah,
you know, pick
that
up and
is
stuff.
awesome.
So, but I hope the point of the book, I hope that after people read it, they'll realize how important it is to take care of yourself, you know, to eat right and to you know, exercise and all that. And that's the whole point of the book, is just to educate, you know, and get people to understand the importance that, no, you're not too busy to take care of yourself. You know, you
Yeah.
think you're too
And I
busy,
like that
but
you
you're
take a
not.
holistic approach. You know, I'm all into the head to toe approach, you know, which I'm sure you can relate to, you know,
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
chiropractor. So I think that's super awesome. Now we have a few minutes left. So I want to ask you if there are any future products, services, offerings that you are thinking of that you wanted to share at this time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I do have a couple of programs that are going to come out soon on some rehab type of programs, but and that'll be we'll make announcements on the YouTube channel. I'm working on a big project right now. I give you a little, not to get too much into it right now because we're early on, but it gets back to plant-based, being plant-based and being older, and we're working on a documentary on just a bunch of physical feats over a short period of time to just show being how you can be fit at any age and on a plant-based diet. And we're going to be we're going to stop filming it a little bit this year, but I'm working through a couple little minor injuries, so we're probably not going to film it till for a few more months. But we do have there's going to, and once again we'll post it, but we do have, like, we're putting together a documentary and on just being fit, you know, and being fit at any age on a plant-based, you know, focusing on plant-based diet, you know, fitness
That's
on
going
a
to be
plant-based
awesome.
diet, you know. So
Yeah,
so
because a
that'll be
lot of
fun.
people,
Yeah, so
yeah,
we'll
a
do
lot of
a bunch
people,
of crazy,
yeah, no, and
physical
I'm sure
feats.
you're familiar with the Game Changer documentary, and a lot of people really rely on that, especially guys. So I think it's really awesome that you're, you
Yeah,
know, producing this new work.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be
But
fun. So it won't be
after
fun while I'm
after
doing it, but it'll be
and the
fun
thing
after
is
we're done.
too, you're going to help so many people, you know, and we, you know, although a lot of us are couch potatoes, a lot of us, you know, aspire to be like more physically fit. And so, you know, each you know, each documentary, each, you know, book, each podcast, each video speaks to a certain, you know, audience or a certain mindset at the time that they are on their life journey. So
Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to reach a lot of people.
yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's all. It's just one person at a time. You reach one person at a time and try to, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, you want to try to educate people, and it's not going to happen all at once. You just try to reach out best you can,
Right.
as
And
many
so
people as you
on
can.
that
So
note, Joe, what are the best ways for people to contact you for information, collaboration, questions, comments, etc.?
yeah, I mean, well, my email is Dr. Joe, DRJOE at okramedhealth.com. You can also, if you're on the website, okramedhealth.com, there's a contact page on the website too. People reach out to me through that website all the time. So there's a contact sheet. That's probably might be the easiest way to do it. People are always welcome. I always encourage people to, on the YouTube channel, the videos, leave comments. I get back to everybody as best I can. We get a lot of comments in, but I always go through them and read them all and answer them. So that's a great way to reach out too. If you watch a video and you have any questions about that. So I do really do my best, whether it's an email or whatever, to get back to everybody. So may not get back to you in 5 or 10 minutes, but give me a little time. Give me a little time, and I'll get back to everybody. I read through them all. So
fantastic. And whoever's listening here, live or on the replay, if you're not following Joe, follow Joe. And Joe, my last question to you. After I thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us, and also thanking everybody who watched live or in the replay. Joe, do you have any final thoughts for us to kind of wrap this up and put a bow on it for us, please?
I just think it's important for people to realize, we're only here for a short period of time, and we want to live our best life, and you do that by making time for yourself to stay fit, stay healthy, eat properly, and just like we're only here for a short period of time. We want to enjoy everything around us, nature and animals, and we don't, I want them to live their life. I want to live my life, and just be positive, encourage people. And surround yourself with just positive people that are going to encourage you, and you can encourage them. I
love that. So. I love that. We need more of that. It's listening to someone just on a what do you call it? A replay of a YouTube video. And he was, basically saying like a lot of people need community, and community is lacking, and that support of having someone to turn to, and like-minded people like you were mentioning earlier. So thank you for that comment. Powerful info. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Nice talking to you.
I saw that comment down there. Thank you so much. And so Joe, thank you so much for coming on. I am now going to save this to my feed and stories, and then I'll message you after. Thank you. Okay. You too. Take care. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.